Sulba ma'am. I'm sure that all of us would agree that yeah, St. Francis Institute is creating the right ecosystem by getting such bodies associated and inviting alumni as well as present students, not only at becoming entrepreneurs, but for the students who want to join corporate with the entrepreneurial mindset. Today the world is all about entrepreneurship also, so corporates are looking for management graduates who think like an entrepreneur and want to grow their businesses. So this spirit of entrepreneurship, which is inculcated in our students through the Prerna Club, with the support of all our heads, Dr. Henry as well as Dr. Sulba, is going to take the futures of our students at a very different level. Thank you so much, ma'am, for this warm welcome. Going further, we have the first speaker for the day, Mr. Bholanath Datta. He, just to give a small brief about what Professor Bholanath is all about. He's an educationist, serial entrepreneur, visiting professor in India as well as abroad. He was a former World Bank quality assurance expert in higher education, author, career counselor, business coach, chairman of Global Entrepreneurs Grid, and founder president MTC Global, a global think tank in higher education. It's an honor to have you, sir. He is a champion mentor in a Startup India initiative associated with Government of India, and he's also a mentor at Change at Atal Innovation Mission, Atal Tinkering Labs, Niti Aayog, Government of India. He has authored around 21 books, over 100 papers, serving in advisory board of a lot of number of organizations, B schools and universities in India as well as abroad. He's a very sought-over speaker in national and international forums. He has over 25 years of experience in defense, corporate, higher education, research consultancy, and startup activities. Definitely a change maker and a force behind over top 50 path-breaking initiatives under MTC Global and adding more each in education space across the globe. So it's an honor to have you, sir. Over to Mr. Datta. The theme for the day, which he's going to speak about, is about creativity and innovation. As we all know, India is a land of innovation, known for frugal innovation. The small things which actually are making India a global name today. And I'm sure, sir, with your expertise on Startup India and make in India, our understanding and your mentoring and guidance, we might see people reaching a different level. Over to you, sir. Thank you very much for joining in today.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Namrata ma'am. Very happy morning from MTC Global and Global Entrepreneurs Grid. It's a great pleasure to associate with one of the entrepreneurial institutions, St. Francis Institute of Management and Research. When Dr. Simon sir approached to us immediately, I have not given a second thought. I said, yes, let's go ahead. Because during this pandemic, since last 1 year, it is almost 1.5 years, we all have been struggling, and we could see that there are a lot of startup activities also in particular sector like health, edtech, and cloud kitchen. Those sectors are seeing huge growth. I said, yeah, this is the need of the hour, and students must get right kind of intervention and enlightenment, and probably a lot of other participants, those will be joining, and we must share the different avenues for growth. And looking forward, there are brighter spots also during this tough time. And St. Francis Institute of Management and Research, I have been associated through their faculty members, okay, like Dr. Simon for a quite long time. And we say a lot of thoughts, and it's a great pleasure to be part of this platform. And I'm looking forward to learn a lot of new things as well from other distinguished speakers. And thank you for the wonderful introductory speech by Dr. Henry sir and Dr. Sulba ma'am. And they have set the stage right to take it forward and made the things much easier for me. And when Dr. Simon sir said yesterday that, sir, what is the topic you'd like to say? I said, okay, let's talk on creativity and innovation, which is synonymous with entrepreneurship, right? Without creativity and innovation, we cannot do anything. Now, there is a beautiful quote. I'll just start from the beginning, then I'll try to escalate the things on different aspects based on my experience, being an educationist and being an entrepreneur and being a mentor, mentoring a lot of startups under Startup India portal. The first of all, if you look at, I would like to quote one person, and probably all of us know today, Mr. Sridhar Bembu, right? Founder and chairman of CEO of Zoho Corporation. And this year he was awarded Padma Shri. I think he is the fantastic example of entrepreneur who worked in USA in a very big position, left the job, came back to his native in Tamil Nadu. Okay, and he started Zoho in a rural background. Okay, it's not in the Chennai-based company, in the village, and this is one of the unicorns which has not taken any funding from anywhere, and it stood by itself. That's the best example, because generally when we talk about entrepreneurship, startup activities, the first question we encounter is, sir, where is the money? From where we'll get the money? Who will fund our business? I think these are definitely the questions, but these are not essential things. Okay, if a person has right kind of urge and burning desire to do something, okay, of his or her own. We know the motivational speaker Steve Kera, who wrote now one of the best-selling books, You Can Win. And on the cover page itself, okay, there is a beautiful quote: "Winners don't do different things; they do things differently." I think this term, winners, it means they are the managers, they are the entrepreneurs, and they are the winners of life. And he said another famous quote: "A life not by default, a life by designing." I think that's a very powerful quote all of us need to look into. We don't have any say for where we have taken birth, but definitely we have all the controls how to take our life forward. I think that's one of the powerful thought what we can always look at. Entrepreneur, the word, if you look at, it has come from the Latin word entrepreneur, that means to take risk. Definitely, entrepreneurship is not a fashion, right? That yes, just to have the title of entrepreneur, okay, let us start something. It's not a fashion. It's about passion. It's about a vision, right? It's about a long term vision to provide employment, to have growth, to help the economy to grow, to address the different kind of problems the country, the society, the people are facing today. So risk is associated with the entrepreneurial journey. So that's number one. The second thing, if we talk about entrepreneurship, definitely what is the theme of my talk is about creativity and innovation. Many people, when we do mentoring, they say, sir, I want to become an entrepreneur. Please, can you give one idea? I say that's a very difficult thing. That's the toughest thing you're asking for. Okay, I cannot give you any idea to become an entrepreneur. You must have an idea to do something of yourself. That desire, okay, that no burning desire, that urge, that mindset you should have. You should come with the idea. Then probably we can discuss on that and define that idea to build your enterprise. So that's number one. So in the idea itself, if you look at how new idea is created, probably there are a lot of terms we use nowadays. We use the term like innovation, invention, right? We use the term creativity, and most of the times these terms are used interchangeably, but there is a fine difference among these terminologies. Invention means a new idea, thoughts, process, and design. Innovation means when we convert this into some kind of product and process and services, and creativity is a mindset, right? So these three terminologies, there is a fine difference among these three terminologies. Now, how we can get the new ideas, from where the ideas come from? I think students, okay, you are getting a lot of exposure during your interaction online with your teacher, during the expert lecture. You are browsing through different websites, you are going for exhibition, you are reading newspaper, you are getting a lot of updates, right? What is happening in the market, which other companies are growing, any new product is launched or not. See, when we talk about the idea, I must quote, okay, the Tesla, okay, the Elon Musk. I think he is one of the disruptor. SpaceX, Hyperloop, these are some of the disruptions what he has brought in. Okay, so we all look up to Elon Musk, and he invested in Bitcoin, but somehow he came back, okay, because of some issues. Okay, there are a lot of disruptions in the market. There is a beautiful strategy also. Now, I'm sure that you must have heard of in your strategic management, which was developed by INSEAD, Singapore professors, the blue ocean and the red ocean strategy, right? What is red ocean strategy? Red ocean strategy means today you will see that whenever we bring out any new product and service, anything new in the market, you will find that very next day a lot of other companies also have come with the similar kind of product and service. So this is a very this is known as dog eat dog market. Okay, it's a very competitive market, and you have to survive in this competitive market. And the blue ocean strategy means this is a very new area, right? Something you do it which your competitors find it very difficult to imitate or copy that particular idea. I think we need to always look for that blue ocean space wherein we can bring in, and that's what is called no disruptive innovations, right? So innovations, the new ideas that come from our experience, new ideas come from the study, new ideas come from when you interact with our mentors, with our teachers, with the industry executives, when we read newspapers, the business magazines and journals. A lot of new thoughts come in our mind. Having said that, whenever we think of starting a new business, the one thing is very important that we must carry out some kind of no limited marketing research, okay, because this research may be the face-to-face research, or maybe we can do desk research using the Google and a lot of other servers, okay, search engines. And we need to look at, okay, what are the problems, real problems people are encountering, okay, and what are the solutions are available, whether really people are satisfied with those kind of no services, or still they're looking for something extra, something more. I think that's the source of coming out with new ideas and thoughts. Probably we can land up in this particular areas and try to bring in some kind of solutions, okay, so that we meet the people needs and wants and demands. So the market research is very very essential whenever you want to do something, okay, in this particular environment. That's one part. The other parts are new ideas come from different other sources as well, right? Now, if we look at the productivity, okay, the productivity, the ratio, the output versus no output by input. Now, if we give a look for any particular production process, can you keeping the input constant, can you ensure that more output, right? Is that possible? And that's possible because we can develop the business process reengineering. That is about BPR. We can develop the business process reengineering. We can take care of the human resources, motivate them. So even the input is same, we can ensure that output is more, and therein a lot of new ideas and thought processes come into play. Now, if you do a value cost analysis, right? Value cost analysis, value by cost. Okay, what is the value cost? Can we enhance the value by keeping the cost constant, or can we enhance the value of some product and services by no even lowering the cost part? Now, therein also the business process reengineering concepts come into play, probably with the intervention of technology, probably with the intervention of some business coach, some expertise. We can do that, and that's about something new ideas and new thought processes come into play. So market research, exposure to the media, reading newspaper, business magazines, the exhibitions wherein we go, the industrial exhibitions, okay, then the value cost analysis, productivity analysis. I think these are some of the ways from where we can get a lot of new ideas and thoughts, okay, wherein we can definitely think of addressing some of the difficulties or the problems which people are facing. Now, this is not enough. Now, all ideas cannot be converted into a business, right? A product and service. So, what we need to do typically when you have one idea, and now we have to screen. It's called business cost analysis, right? The business analysis. whether that idea is converted, can be converted into a business. What is the gestation period of that particular idea when it is converted into business, when we get back our revenue back, whether it is 6 months, 1 year, or 2 years. Typically we see that gestation period, it varies between 6 months to 1 year. But people say that to become an entrepreneur, at least we should have our mind set right for 3 years. We need to float. And we see that in the report, people say that 90% of startups, they fail not because that the idea is bad. Okay, they fail because they don't have the resilience. They don't have the resilience, and the founders get upset very soon. They don't bring in the changes, right? Changes in the augmentation, what we call augmentation in their products and services based on the customer's feedback, right? I think these, or they have the difficulties in marketing and selling their products and services. I think these are maybe some of the areas wherein many startups, many founders, they have difficulties and they leave it. Okay, they leave it. I think that's a big challenge for any entrepreneur. And each entrepreneur, that's what we said, they should be a good no they must be no that's entrepreneurs, very good sales people or the marketing people, because end of the day, whatever we do, whatever we produce, that needs to be sold, right? We need to reach out to the people to create awareness about our product and services and tell them, yes, this is the product what we have developed, and this product gives, these are the benefits, and this can help you, okay, in these ways. I think that is very, very important, wherein many people, we find there are challenges, and this we must look into. So the business analysis we need to do based on that particular idea. So any idea we have, okay, so that cannot be converted into product and services, so we need to do a business analysis. And many times, we do a wrong idea pass through the business analysis. Okay, we called it go error. Okay, go error, a wrong idea no passes after the business analysis, and many times a good idea also stops after the business analysis. We call it no stop error. So this particular space, the stage of no new product development, we need to be very, very careful about the stop error, go error, about doing a correct business analysis. Probably therein the need of mentors come. Many people say, see, if no I have an idea, if I have the right kind of no urge, and I want to really start a business, what is the need of mentor? So definitely, there are many successful founders though did not have right kind of mentoring, they could do by themselves, right? But mentoring has its own place. Okay, mentoring speed up the process. Mentoring helps to take the things in a very structured way. That's why today we see there is a huge growth in this particular area of business coach, leadership coach, and the mentoring. And we find a lot of startups in this particular area itself. I think they are in global entrepreneurs grid is coming into play. We do a lot of startup and mentoring activities in this particular space because there is a need. There is a need. Okay. Other day I was reading one beautiful article, and many times we say that entrepreneurship cannot be taught, but it can be caught. Like leadership cannot be taught, it can be caught. And but someone was telling like singing, right? Many of us we sing. Okay, we call it bathroom singer. Okay, we sing, but sometimes what happens, these singers, okay, when they take someone's some training or some learning from some established singer, and they develop their skills, and they also fine tune, and they become a good singer. So entrepreneurship, sometimes it may be linked with the singing, because many people, they have the interest, right? They have the interest, and they have the desire to do something, but they don't have right kind of right kind of environment, or right kind of motivation, or right mentoring, and they look out. Okay, they look out, they're very perplexed, they're confused. Yes, I want to become, but exactly I need some idea, some hand holding, so that I can take it forward from here. I think they are in the role of teachers, they are in role of mentors, and the ED cell, the incubators, all those things come into play. That's why today, the Startup India and the Atal incubators, Atal Innovation Mission, they have started incubators in the schools, in the colleges and the universities. We see now all institutions they have ED cell, and many they have the incubator. There are regular activities like what St. Francis Institute of Management and Research they have been doing for over a period of time to motivate their students to become creative, to become innovative. I think all institutions they're doing, right? And especially during this pandemic, I think this is the need of the hour. People are saying that not all people know they have suffered during this pandemic. No, many have lived well. Those who have adapted very fast with the changing scenario, and that's true. See, today, if I talk about the creativity and innovation, you look at the healthcare sector. Okay, how they have grown. I'm not talking because of the COVID number of COVID patients, and they have raised the bill. Okay, no, what is reported in Twitter and no newspapers. I'm not talking about that. But see, they have taken up telemedicine very proactively. They are providing services, home services, and this telemedicine have become so popular. So, doctor in one hospital in Mumbai, now that doctor has the market or the reach consultation, okay, practices can do from Mumbai to all over India, which before this COVID, people not used to take. They used to feel that no, personally we should go and meet the doctor, and doctor should see and touch our hand, see our pulses, and then we discuss the problem, and probably then only doctor can give the good medicines. But today is the complete the new scenario. The completely new scenario, and the healthcare industries they have adapted the situation very well, and they have brought in a lot of innovative practices, okay, in their treatment. They are the frontline COVID warriors, and and they have done fantastic. And look at the retail sector. If we talk about innovations, like retail sector has grown manifold, 10 times almost during last 1.5 year. They have also come out with a lot of innovations, a lot of product innovations in terms of delivery, okay, in terms of quality of the product, okay, like Flipkart, they have the 100% delivery in all pin codes in India, and Amazon they have 90% delivery, okay, as far as the pin codes are concerned. Okay, so they have outreached, they have reached out to the people. And during the lockdown time, people also they wanted to have the product being at home. So this there was a need, and these companies have come forward, and they've addressed that particular. They have reached out the all sectors of India. So this retail sector they have done no wonderful. The healthcare sector they have done wonderful. Some of the SME sector definitely they are the job creators of almost 80 to 90%. Okay, job creation is the SME sector. The many SME sectors are badly hit, and government of India has taken a lot of measures to support. Initially the 50 lakh crores rupees was injected, okay, to support this particular sector. But some of the SME sectors, especially those who are connected with the medicine equipment, medicine and medicinal equipment manufacturing and these areas, and those SME sectors have done very well. One of my students, past students who passed out in 2006, other day I was talking with him. He is in one of the SME sector, and he was telling, "Sir, we have done fantastic well because they supply medical equipments to the hospitals, and they have grown leaps and bounds." Right. So this healthcare sector, some of the SME sectors, and the insurance sector, the finance sector, banking is little down, but it will come up once again. So these are the sectors who have done fantastic. And look at the innovations and creativity in the edtech sector, educational technology sector, right? Lot of startups and lot of companies, okay, they have come out with the LMS and other IT based product and services to support the education sector. So we see that there is a need, there are some challenges, and we find a lot of startups. We find existing companies coming out with innovative product and services. Many companies they have diversified their business completely. They are into some other field. Now they have come into education sector, tech sector, and no. So we could see a lot of new activities, but definitely all that is not good. Okay, as per as the Center for Monitoring Indian Economy, it says that 1 crore job loss, right, in the month of May. I think the employment is a big concern, and so we need to know skill up. We need to develop our skills. Some of the sectors which are doing very well, okay, we need to look at those sectors, and some sectors which are badly hit, like no tourism, travel, okay, sectors, especially the hotels, okay, the hospitality sectors, okay, their business is no, very very down. And many travel and tourism companies, they have come out with the virtual tourisms. They are trying to bring in some kind of innovations. And in Mumbai only, it was the newspaper, no, many tourism company, what they're doing, no, they have a special, they are seeking for government permission so that they can take the people for vaccinations to US, and maybe 2 3 days stay and sightseeing, vaccination tourism, right? So see, these are some of the innovations, these are some of the innovations and creative thoughts now, what people are trying to explore the new things during this difficult time. Now, going back to the business analysis, I think the idea, it has to be no, there has to be some kind of feasibility studies. And I'm sure that you must be aware of the feasibility studies. Okay, it's not an idea and we have money, we put the idea and we start the business. Feasibility study in terms of financial feasibility. In terms of financial feasibility means how much fund is required. I think this is one of the areas wherein we have a lot of queries or a lot of challenges. Okay, we want to do a business, but what the fund will come, we don't have the fund. Now, what are the sources of fund? If you look at, right, today you will see, I'm sure that all of us, we have our LinkedIn profile and other social media platform also, and many founders, they post, I have one fantastic idea, and this idea is already tested. We have done the alpha test, beta test, and ready to launch the product. I'm looking for 2 3 co-founders with investment of maybe maximum 2 lakhs. And so this is called crowdfunding or crowdsourcing. And we have the venture capitalist. I think the St. Francis is in Mumbai, and we have the famous no Mumbai Angels no entrepreneurs network, and they do a lot of funding for the startups. We have the startup lens and many venture capitalists, because venture capitalists by themselves are entrepreneur. They are looking for some good idea wherein they can invest, and they can also get their money back because that's their business. But anyhow, we're getting support for the fund. If the fund, then we have the Mudra scheme. We have the lot of government scheme also, wherein we can take the soft loan from the bank, okay, as a seed capital of the bridge financing, to meet our funding requirement. But having said that, as I quoted the example of Sridhar Vemu of Zoho, I think always whenever we talk about startup, we must look at the cardinal principle, and not principle, this is by practice what we have seen, that we should start small and scale up fast, right? Start small, in a small way, with a less capitals, right? Probably from your saved money, or if some of your friends, they want to start it together, all can contribute, or you can take from your family, or maybe a little bit of loan you can take, okay, or with a small no amount, so that your risk is calculated, right? Risk is calculated, risk, the less risk, and you start. But what is very important in this particular area, what I was talking time and again, I'm focusing on, is about the idea. What is that idea? What problem you're going to address, the solve, the genuinity of this particular idea, that makes a lot of difference. Okay, so therein the creativity and innovation comes into place. But many, but let me say that many good ideas and many good product and services also, okay, they fail. Because they fail, that because many startups and many these founders, they may not have the right kind of marketing strategy and the sales technique in place. I think those two things, that marketing and sales, are very very important. And today, if you look at, I think all businesses have come into digital platform. Today we are having this particular program, okay, using the Zoom. So everything is on digital platform. So this digital disruption, right, it has brought lot of new opportunities. Today we can connect with anybody across the world. It was there before, but no one took it so seriously. But today everyone is and you must have read that yesterday it was there in the newspaper, that Facebook announced that 50% of the employees are permitted to work from the home, even they come back to normalcy. TCS have long time back already made the announcement, and people have seen that. Once people thought that work from home, it will be less productive, but this particular thought, people have proven is completely wrong. Work from home has become more productive. There may be challenges, right? People are working from home, they individually may have challenges, but work from home is not less productive. So this lot of thinking, lot of our thinking has gone under overall changes during this no pandemic period. So digital platform has given us maximum reach across the world. I think this digital advantage, digital advantage, we should be able to take it up. We should be able to take it up, and to take it, we should understand the digital platform, the social media marketing. I'm sure you'll be having, or you must have had some programs on know how to build your LinkedIn profile, how to use Facebook advertisement, how to use Twitter. No, there are many people, okay, and yeah, you'll be knowing that, okay, they have become very successful YouTuber, and they are earning lakhs of rupees. And to become YouTuber, is not so easy, right? Becoming YouTuber is not so become easy. They have to be, highly creative and very innovative, okay, in their video, okay, editing in the contents, and they have millions of followers. I think, no, they're doing wonderful. Now if I talk simply, okay, TikTok once upon a time was doing so well. TikTok has given very big challenge to the established stars on the Bollywood. Okay, there are so many no stars in TikTok, and people were crazy about it. But TikTok is banned, no problem. Immediately Instagram came into, okay, to start reel, right? YouTube started short in comparison with Twitter, the short video of 1 minute. Now these two platforms have become so popular, right? So whenever Instagram, we post something, a lot of messages we get that I have, so many millions of followers. Okay, please DM me, direct message me if you want to promote, okay, your product and services, through our profile, okay, user ID. So see how people are no see people have become so creative and so innovative. Okay, the digital marketing today, okay, see, marketing concepts, selling concepts will never change, the fundamental concepts, but the platform have gone under massive change, and we must understand today, at least to become entrepreneurs, the challenges in the digital marketing, the platforms, digital platforms, well, how to reach out to the people digitally. Okay, the Alibaba, okay, the founder Jack Ma said, if you're doing something digitally, you must keep on doing it. Okay, never get disheartened, because many times, we post a lot of good things, and we see that people are not liking, people are not sharing our content, okay, not paying attention. But we should not get demotivated. Okay, that's the lesson. We should keep on doing it, and people will, okay, have their say. Maybe not now, over a period of time, once they look that someone is really circulating good message, people will pay their attention. WhatsApp for business, okay, anyhow, there was privacy issues. Telegram and all the stuff they started. Twitter, now we have the Indian version of Koo. Okay, lot of things, lot of digitally things. But no, as a manager, as an entrepreneur or business leader, I think we need to understand the digital platform world, the social media platform very well. Then we should know what is search engine optimizations, the Google AdWords, how we can do effective email marketing, know what are the challenges are there, how to do the Facebook advertising, how to go for banner advertising, and how to develop the content, good content. Okay, that's very important. Again, it's a part of marketing and sales. You have an idea, you developed a product and service. Now this message has to be passed on. Okay, so we need to have a beautiful way of writing the content, whether it's technical content or general content, okay, and post it on social media. You will find out that some people, okay, they are so good at writing content on the social media platform, and they easily attract the attention of the people, and they converse there, and over a period of time, okay, they they just move the people. Okay, yes, this is the product, this is developed, and this fellow is really is very genius, and his product must have no lot of no attributes or good qualities. So let us go for some kind of partnership on the hand holding. I think These are some of the opportunities being on the digital age, and many people are doing it very very successfully. And we see today, right, all this MDP program. Let me talk about MDP program, or the management development program for the corporate, right? It's once people used to spend lakhs of rupees, the companies, okay, for traveling. The companies used to spend crores of rupees. People are going for meeting or business training from one city to another city, one country to another country, and crores of rupees are spent. These are simply wastage of money. Now today, these all activities can be done sitting at home using Zoom or other video platform, and with equal efficiency, and let me tell, maybe with more efficiency, because no time waste, no money waste, no energy waste, nothing is waste. Whatever the cost for the program, the resource person, that only you have to spend. And there is post, no session follow up, there is evaluation, there is one to one interaction, which is not possible in case of face to face MDP program or face to face business coach, this kind of programs. There are a lot of challenges with the time, energy, money. Okay, so this digital platform, if you can use it judiciously, if you use it innovatively and creatively, then definitely no, it can no, you should a new opportunity and new possibilities for all of us. So the managers and the entrepreneurs and the future leaders, you must understand these digital tools and techniques very well to become an entrepreneur as well, especially in today's time, because this is the future. And there was a report by KPMG, okay, the leading consulting firm, and it says that the digital transformation, what it was supposed to happen for next 5 to 10 years, that has happened in last 6 to 7 months. In 1 year, that digital disruption has happened. This transformation, we have to take advantage as an organization, as an educational institution, as an individual, as a student, as an entrepreneur, manager, leader, whatever it is. So this financial, let's go back to financial feasibility, what I was talking about, the capital, the access to the capital, right? So the access to the capital, I think this is a major challenge, and most of the startups and the founders, they have these difficulties. Okay, I could see that we have Dr. E. Vaskaran, sir, okay, who was a very good speaker, because he's working earlier with the Tamil Chambers of Commerce and Industry. Now he has moved as a director position in ETII Chennai. Okay, recently, 1st June onwards. He is an expert in the area of no financing, from where are the different sources the startups can get fund. So thank you, sir, for your joining. I could see your face. It's a great privilege to have you among us. Wonderful to have you. And I heard you in one of our programs, and that was fantastic. So that's what I said. No, it's not about sharing; it's about learning as well. Okay, we learn every day. Okay, everybody we can learn. Okay, from the students also we can learn a lot of new things. And as I said, the Zoho founder, okay, the Srinivas Vemu, he is one of the unicorns. Okay, who has not taken any funding from anywhere, and the number one company. Okay, so see, we should not depend on funding. Time and again I said, see, funding is needed at certain point of time. You take funding unnecessary from somebody, some angel investor or venture capitalist, they will put a lot of pressure, undue pressure on your head, and make your life miserable also at one point of time. Okay, so that's one thing you must keep in your mind. If you have a good idea, and if you can really have the means and ways to develop that idea into product and service, so probably no, you have to depend on your own sources, your own saved money, your parents, or no, your friends, or something like that, or maybe a soft loan from the bank. Okay, but anyhow, there are a lot of no different ways. As I said, the crowdfunding is there. Okay, there are venture capitalists, there are angel investors. Okay, those who are ready to fund you, but they have some will have some business interest or some return on their funding. So there are many government institutions like Mudra Loan and other also. The Startup India Capital, this Startup India portal. If you start a company, if you register there, okay, you will get access to a lot of funding from the government agencies, different agencies. Probably you can explore those areas also. Okay, so this financial feasibility is very very important. But those who have the idea, those who are really passionate about doing something, I think for them finance or access to the fund is not a problem at all. Then the economic feasibility comes, whether economically this particular idea or the venture wherein we are going to land up, that is viable or not. Now here in your the break even analysis come, okay, from where we can start earning profit, gestation period, these things is come. Okay, so this economic feasibility is also equally very important. Then you have to do the engineering feasibility, the production feasibility, the technical feasibility, the human resource feasibility, right? All those feasibility, the marketing feasibility, all those things you need to do before you launching that particular or convert that idea into product and going for a pilot survey in your operating environment. So that thing, okay, you need to look at it seriously before you get into no further scaling up your operations. So these feasibility studies are very important when you have any idea to convert into. Now when you have done the feasibility study and you could see, yes, now my particular idea has passed through the different stages, right? The business analysis, the feasibility studies. Probably then you can develop a prototype, okay? Go for alpha testing with your friends and colleagues, then go for beta testing, okay? For no market launch in a small place and see people's reaction and their feedback. Then you can go for the pilot survey, okay, in a small market you can launch your product and take the people's feedback. Then you can go for the commercialization stage. So this no the new product development, from generating new ideas through the feasibility study to the launching of the product to the commercializations, this process is, okay, is a very scientific process. Okay, these are not very whimsical process, these are very scientific process, and herein we need some kind of mentoring and some kind of supports. Okay, then it becomes much more easier, right? The journey becomes much more easier. Now if we look at the, again, once again, okay, when you talk about creativity and innovations, and in marketing, definitely in the first semester in the marketing management book, you must have studied the new product development process, right? And therein you have seen the strategy, okay, and you must have studied that no innovator, early adopter, late adopter, early majority, late majority, laggards, and all the stuff. Okay, some people you will always find out that anything new in the market, okay, they immediately go for that particular product, right? So you need to do little bit of business analysis also, and your customers analysis, your target segments for which particular, okay, so herein comes your STP policy, segmentation targeting, and no promotional policy, because this makes a lot of difference. Now today I read in newspaper that the McDonald is offering beer, and many other e-commerce sites giving some kind of freebies, some kind of offers if you give give your e-certificates on vaccinations. You have taken 2 vaccinations and they are giving some no pricing offers or some discounts or some freebies. Fantastic. You look at the US. Okay, their president Joe Biden has announced that okay, for each jab, no, the vaccine, people will get free beers from the government. Okay, see the innovations, see the innovations. Okay, so no, at government level, as no, the government can be so entrepreneurial, organization can become so entrepreneurial, individually people can become so creative. So this is all pervasive, right? This innovation and creativity not limited to the startups. Now let me come to the the core things where people get confused many times, right? Now see, if I say entrepreneur, definitely, okay, a person who start a business by taking limited risk, mobilizing the resources, and start a business, person called entrepreneur. Now today we use the term entrepreneurial, okay, more than the entrepreneur. Now why we use the term entrepreneurial? Entrepreneurial means to become creative and innovative, okay, to have a positive frame of mind, positive mindset. Now it's not necessary that to become entrepreneurial one person has to become an entrepreneur, right? As an employee you can become very entrepreneurial, right? Yesterday was the birthday of Sundar Pichai, okay, the CEO of Google Alpha company, right? And Twitter was flooded, okay, because he is one of the prides of India, okay, the number one company in the world. and highly creative person, highly innovative person. He has reached to the level of the top of the number one company, Fortune 500 company in the world. So see, that innovations, that creativity. So he is highly entrepreneurial. So not only that, even if you take a particular job and assignment, you need to be creative and innovative in the way you do the work. Okay, so that's very very important. Intel is a highly innovative company. A lot of companies, you see that regularly they come out with the product augmentations, the new food features, the new no services. I think these companies are highly innovative companies. So we need innovative government, we need creative government to address the problems. This is the Aadhaar card, is one of the biggest innovations in the world. A country having around 140 crore populations, okay, linking other with lot of social benefits. What a fantastic innovation by Nandan Nilekani, the co-founder of Infosys. Can anyone think of? Many countries, they're offering no the hard copy of, right, the vaccination certificate. It was there in the newspaper. But India, look, they're doing wonderful. It is connected with the co-win platform with the Aadhaar card, and things are initially there was some technique, definitely it will be there, but it is moving so well. What a fantastic innovation! The Aadhaar itself linked to it everywhere. Is it not the innovation? So this is another fantastic innovation. We can do lot of small innovation. All the companies, whether it's Google, Microsoft, Facebook, any big companies you look at today, those who are the market leaders. Number one, they are the highly innovative companies. Number two, they all started in a very small way. So initially, you cannot think of that, okay, I'll start a big company with crores of investment and all of a sudden will become. No, that's the wrong idea, right? You should have the right vision. You should have the right approach, right? Mindset. What you are going to do today in a small way, what will be that company 5 years, 10 years, 15 years? What is your vision map for the next 20 years? That will give you a lot of motivation, support, and help you to strategize your steps for the future. That's very very important. Now whenever we talk about these innovations, okay, again there are a lot of no a lot of theories come into place. We call it no innovations, a very unique idea. All of a sudden this idea is not existing. Now we call it innovations as no imitation, as a cloning. Okay, exactly, something is there somewhere, we develop the same product. So innovation can be for the new market, the product is not there. Innovation can be the new product itself. Even people call innovations by adding some new features and attributes, relaunching the product. That's also innovation. This may be an imitation, this may be exact cloning, or this may be with some modifications you can launch the product in your own market. So that also is called innovations. So whatever, so today in the startup journey and the entrepreneurial journey, what is very important as the topic on which I've been talking for last around 1 hour is the creativity, innovation, and entrepreneurship. Right. So this creativity is very very essential. It's a mindset, is a positive mindset. Whether we are a student, we are a manager, teacher, or we are as an organization and institutions, we all need to become creative and innovative to lead, to become a leader, to retain our market positions, and to enter into a new market segments. So innovation is the only way, but these innovation is not a simple and easy step. There is a structured process, there is a standard procedure, okay, and we all need to go through these steps. And this must be backed by the market research, some kind of action research, what we do every day. Okay, and herein come the role of your business analysis. Okay, the business analysis, the big data management, Okay, the metadata management. What is the big data management? How people are using the data? So to today, the data driven economy, right? If you have the data of your potential or prospective customers, probably, no, if you have the database, so you can find out, know which age category, which particular socioeconomic geographical background they are there. Probably you can customize your promotional campaign, you can reach out to them, okay, in a more definite way. I think this data analysis, this big data management and data science, okay, as a manager, as an entrepreneur in today's digitized world, we must understand very well. I think that will help us, that will ensure know our success, the percentage of our success. Okay. So having said that, now, this is something what I spoke about, the creativity, the innovations, the entrepreneurship, the entrepreneurial journey. We all need to become entrepreneur. Not necessarily that if you want to start a company only, we need to become entrepreneurial. It's not that. We all need to become entrepreneurial, creative mindset. That's very important. There was a time, okay, there was a time when if someone is not doing academically well, right, what people used to say, the parents used to say, okay, okay, let me open one shop, give some money, you do the business. And it was so difficult for an entrepreneur to get a no bride also. Okay, so there was a time, very very difficult time, but today the whole landscape has changed. The Flipkart, the lot of success stories, okay, in India, a lot of successful companies, they've changed the landscape, the mindset, the perception towards startup ecosystem. And this is on a very positive side, very positive note. As there is lot of pressure on the industry, lot of pressure on the SME sector, I think the right time to all the, especially the student community, to think out of the box, to go for blue ocean strategy, to design their life, okay, not by default, but what they really want to become. Use the digital platform, okay, go for the community learning, very effective community learning, build good network of the like-minded people, get connect with the mentors, with the other expertise, okay, people are ready to help, people want to help. By nature human beings are helping, okay, and look at the areas wherein you can bring in some new product, new service, okay, to help the people. And I am very very positive that each one of us present today, okay, we can do some or other ways, whether we're a student or teachers or business practitioner. Definitely we can do, a lot of new things, lot of new areas yet to be explored. World Economic Forum says by 2050, okay, the majority, the employment, okay, it will be the consultants. What kind of right prediction World Economic Forum made? Today, if you look at many people, they have become freelancer, they have become consultant because of the digital platform. Their reach and access have gone widespread across the world. I'm good at a certain area. My area was very limited to Bangalore or maybe some parts of India. But today, I have the access throughout the world. But do you have that stuff? Do you have that core competency or not? So these freelancer consultant, they will lead in by 2050 as per the World Economic Forum. But it's not so easy tasks, to become a freelancer. They are the experts in a domain, particular area. So what comes at the end, that we need to develop the skills, we need to develop our capabilities, we need to develop our the learnabilities, the ability to learn fast, the new things, the new tools, and adapt with the environment, take up the challenges, and move forward with lots of positivity. And definitely will become not only winner in our professions, but whatever way we want to excel, definitely will become winner in that particular area. as well. Now, let me just stop here because now time is 11:30, so my time slot till 12 o'clock. So probably half an hour we can have some interaction with the permission of another host. Ma'am, can you please suggest, or shall I continue, please?
So we could be open for questions.
Yes, yes, please. I'm very happy to see that a lot of senior MTC members, okay, and the family members like Dr. Kuldeep sir from Assumption University, Thailand, okay, he is here with us, and Dr. Kunal Sil, Dr. E. Vaskaran, no CMA Chitranjan Chatterjee sir, Dr. Ghosh from Kolkata, and Professor Keshav from Ludhiana. He is a very seniorly and elderly person, like a father figure for us, and happy to connect, okay, and probably their presence gives a lot of no inspiration to me to share my thoughts and ideas. Thank you so much, sir, for all of your presence, please.
Thank you. So, Dr. Bholanath, can I ask you a question then?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please.
First, I'm not a senior. Let me say good morning to all of you from Bangkok. You mentioned that during the COVID pandemic, there has been lots of innovation in healthcare, retail, SMEs, and edutech. But do you think that Indian academia or universities and colleges, they are lagging behind in innovation in terms of promoting the new format of learning, which is the digital learning or online learning? Do you think that Indian colleges and universities should adopt what we call the remote working environment as a new normal, perhaps a new mode of teaching and learning online in the same spirit as remote learning? Yesterday, just give me 1 second.
Yes.
Yesterday, I read that fall enrollment in US universities has fallen by 70,000. So next month, when the universities start, they will have very low enrollment in some programs. So this challenge is perhaps going to be faced by all universities everywhere, including India. So I go back to my question: should the university innovate in a way, just like any other sector, to be able to move forward in a very different direction from face-to-face teaching? Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. We have shared a lot of insights and inputs in our MTC platform also on this particular area. So let me just answer in 2-3 different segments. The number one is about the last one. I'll take up the first, the US enrollment, and US universities and the other top universities in the world. By and large, they depend on the students coming from different other countries, especially the Asian countries. And you have seen that student mobility has gone down, and many top universities, they have lowered their admission process itself so that many students can enroll there. So that's one big challenge. If we look at Australia, the 15% of the revenue comes from the students, those who come from the outside. I believe the similar may be the situation for the US as well. So that's number one. But India, if we talk about, by and large, okay, we have our own students. We get very less percentage of the foreign students, those who are studying in India in different universities. So, and we have seen that as the student mobility has come down, many students, they have preferred their own institutions in India rather than going to abroad. So we are somehow able to hold up the brain drain, what we call it, okay, to India, especially this year, and admission has gone up. And the foreign enrollment has gone down, definitely the number one. The second aspect, as far as the innovation is concerned, especially in the academic sector, as you have rightly said, sir, initially, when we faced the pandemic in Feb 2019, we had a lot of challenges. we have a lot of difficulties and lot of queries in the mind of teachers. What we'll do exactly? Because Zoom was available before that, Google Meet was available before that. No one ever used these platforms because we are so comfortable in face to face mode. We never explored the technology which is available. But after 3 4 months, we could see that people have responded so well. People have responded so well. Teachers have learned the technology. They have picked up, and colleges, they have incorporated Microsoft Team and different other LMS learning software, and teachers are given training, and classes are happening on a regular basis following a timetable similar what we have sorry, in face to face mode. And so the academic was little late, as they are not purely business or the commercial venture, but industry have responded very well because they are motivated by the profit, by the margin. So we were little late in adapting the technology part, but later on we responded so well. Now everywhere classes are being conducted. But again, having said that, sir, as you rightly said, I think no teacherpreneur, right? Every teacher should become an entrepreneur, which is very popular in US. I think there is one proposal also. There is one proposal that AICT has given crores of rupees for funding to set up incubators so that students become entrepreneurs. So many teachers now they have put one appeal to the AICT. Why not this facility is extended to the teachers also? Why not teachers can become innovator or entrepreneur using the incubator facilities? I think some changes are definitely happening in Indian startup ecosystem as per innovation is concerned. There was another newspaper article wherein it says that the Amit University, they have created a corpus of around 500 crores to support no the students, those who have lost their parents during this pandemic. So this is also one kind of no innovations they have brought in to ensure that the no deprived students or the less privileged students, those who have lost their parents during this pandemic, they don't suffer. But we need to become more innovation. I think academic innovations by and large, not about India, I think across the world, if we look at, I think it's not as faster as the industry and the corporate sector, because corporate is always their motive, their purpose of existence, and how swiftly they work to any kind of changes. I think academics take little time, and there was a challenge, sir, as you rightly said. We did not have right kind of no the IT architecture in place to respond to this kind of situation. Still now the evaluation has become a big challenge. Evaluation part and the assessment part has become a big challenge in the Indian academic institutions. Classes is one part is very good, but we don't have the online proctoring facility. But most likely, a lot of new interventions and a lot of no new forms are coming into play to address these particular challenges. But I think to sustain ourselves, academic on latter part, they have responded very well. But we need a lot of the innovations, especially in the university and Indian colleges and universities, in terms of our teaching learning and in terms of the new normal, and looking forward the kind of digital disruptions that are happening. No, we need to take maximum advantage of this and take it forward, because this is less cost effective, and in terms of reach, in terms of access of the resource person and the quality teachers across the world, definitely the digital transformations is helping entrepreneurs, the teachers, the students, and the everyone. Sir, I think if you want to add, please kindly add with this. Sir, you are muted. Sir, you are muted. Unmute yourself, please.
You answered everything that I asked. The only thing that I would like the universities to think,
Yes.
to move away from the mindset of going back to face,
Yes,
because
that's-
they think that the COVID is like curfew, no? It's going to go away and we are going to go back.
Yes,
And
sir. Yes,
unless
sir.
that mindset is changed, the innovation in education will be lagging behind, as you mentioned. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yes, please. Anybody else?
Hello, sir. Gaurang here.
Hello.
Please.
Sir.
Yes, Gaurang, please go ahead.
Okay. Sir, are entrepreneurs and businessmen the same or some difference is there? The means I'm just asking about it.
Very good question, Gaurang. I appreciate very much. You will see that in WhatsApp and the social media, I know one poster, it moves like crazy things. Okay, someone is businessman, someone is industrialist. I think you can recollect. One businessman is industrialist. Mr. Ratan Tata is an industrialist, and somebody else is the businessman. Industrialists,
Okay.
they look for the profit, at the same time they take care of the people, they do a lot of fulfill social responsibilities, and those are businessmen, they always look for money. Okay, from where we can get more money. Okay, no public
Okay.
welfare, no corporate social responsibility, not taking care of the, if I talk about SDG, sustainable development goals. Okay, the difference. Okay, the industrialist, businessman.
Okay.
And as you said, the difference between businessman and entrepreneur. See, literally, if I say entrepreneur are those people, or they should be called entrepreneur, those who bring in some kind of innovations with their enterprise. Okay,
Okay.
to that aspect, I think all businessmen are not entrepreneurs, but we can
Understood.
call them. See, we can call them. We call them. You see, one person has opened one grocery shop and selling the items. We can call that person entrepreneur, but essentially that he is a businessman. Okay, that person is a businessman, he is not an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur, with the title itself, some kind of innovation must be there, some kind of impact must be there. There has to
Okay.
be a projection, possibilities for bigger future, right? Not no small grocery shop from 100 items to 200 items. And these entrepreneurs should be able to generate employment. Okay, so these
Okay.
are some of the areas an entrepreneur stands. But no, we use it in the same meaning synonymously, businessman, entrepreneur, but there is definitely a difference. Gaurang, very good question, thank you so much. Wonderful.
Well, thank you, sir. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, Gaurang. Thank you.
Sir, I will like to ask one question.
Yes, sir.
It was just a mesmerizing session, and you were listening, and I was like that should be continued and should be on and on. And I have one question, as Kuldeep ji has pointed out. So far as that you have stated about the innovation, definitely innovation is part of life, and we will have to that is these innovations as per our requirement, as you mentioned about the teaching from offline to online mode, and now that in the all times to come, blended learning shall be there, I think. So far as that is entrepreneurship is concerned, when a student join any particular that is for any particular degree, it may be a graduation or post graduation, they have a mindset that when we are doing MBA or we are doing MCOM or we are doing anything else or BBA, they have usually one thing in mind, that after that degree, we will be having a job. And in the present scenario, the job market is changing very fast during this pandemic. Most of the people, their jobs have been adversely affected. And, some of the people are out of job now. So far as this, that is entrepreneurship is concerned, I think it is very much related to the mindset. So when the students are that is, they had joined for a particular degree or they are pursuing for any post graduation. So they're taking this education as a career. No, how to change the mindset of students so they can go for entrepreneurship. Or, I hope you have
Yes, sir.
uh,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
got
Yes,
my
sir.
point.
Yes, sir. I think no, this is wonderful point raised by Ashok sir, Ashok Kurana sir, and it's a pleasure to have some discussion on this particular topic. See, as I said, that entrepreneurship, okay, more or less like singing, right? Singing. Many people like to sing; they are not singer, but probably if they take some training, spend some time, okay, they can always upgrade their skills and probably they can become a good singer too. Now, those who have taken up the PG program, the UG and PG program, probably they have taken, okay, to study and then take up a job. Definitely, that's the right point, as you rightly said. And you have seen those who want to become entrepreneur, they have even not done their UG program like Mark Zuckerberg and so many and so forth. But it does not say that, okay, to become an entrepreneur, we should not study higher. Okay, we should not go for higher studies. And these people, they themselves said, probably we could study no higher studies, go for higher studies, we would have got success much before than how much time it took for us. Okay, so education by itself has its own value. Definitely everyone looks for ROI, return on investment. Okay, how much money we have invested and when we are going to get back. And there is nothing wrong in that. 15 years of study till PG level, a lot of money our parents invest on us. And to live a good life, we need money. And that's why many people say that there was a study that if people they work for 3 to 5 years after completing their study, those who want to become entrepreneur at least work in the corporate for 5 years, understand the corporate nuances, the challenges, how a company performs, because they are the very raw people. They don't have any before no industry experience and exposure, how an organization works. Probably that helps them, and also it helps them to build little of bit of fund of themselves wherein they can invest. So many people they propose that that could be an alternate model for startups. Those who want to become entrepreneur, let them work for 3 to 5 years, get some hands-on experience, build some good network of the corporate people, so that that helps them to move faster and create a little bit of their own fund and understand how business ecosystem it works, because they are the very freshest, they don't have any previous experience. That's no one school of thought. And the other school of thought, as I said the before, those who really want to become something, okay, they do it much earlier. Okay, even they don't go for higher studies and they just do it. The third school of thought is, if you want to become an entrepreneur, probably many may have that kind of desire. They want to become, but they could not find the ways, okay, how to go about, from where to raise fund, and know how to create a business. And those who are from the business community, now herein come the business community into play. You look at Punjabis and know these Marwadis and Gujaratis, okay, by birth they know entrepreneurs because they are the business community. Hmm? Now there's a popular quoting. I think Sahil, our next speaker, will know. आगे दुकान पीछे मकान और नीचे दुकान, okay, ऊपर मकान. Okay, there's the popular theory of this Marwadi and Gujarati people, because you will see that always they will have their home attached with the shop, so that if the male person is not there, the ladies also come forward. They're so highly entrepreneurial, so highly. This Punjabis and Gujaratis and Rajasthan, I had been in these places during my tenure in Air Force, so I have seen how enterprising these people are. Okay, and even without education, but now today you see there is a massive change in their thoughts also. Now these Marwadis and Gujaratis people, those are known for the startup and the entrepreneurs, their kids are doing engineering postgraduate, and then they're coming and joining the family business, because they also feel there is no need for good educations who can really build up and scale up that business, because all business communities, they used to have their own family owned limited business. Now they want their kid to study higher studies, come back, join family business, and make it a bigger business. So there is a whole change in the perception itself. Now come to your question, sir. As you rightly said, how we can motivate the students to become entrepreneur. Number one, as I said that no, it is something that the interest should come from the students. But to create that interest, I think we need to have an entrepreneurial ecosystem. A lot to do with the learning environment on the institutions. That's why today ICT, UGC, and the government of India, they have promoting the ED cell, entrepreneurship development cell, incubator, and colleges. They are doing meet an entrepreneur program. They have the business plan competitions, entrepreneurship week, visiting the small scale industries. Okay, many universities in India itself, they have created a separate fund so that those who want to become entrepreneur, they can fund it from their own funding to those enterprising students, so that they don't have the difficulties in funding. So there is a lot of change in the perception altogether, and we could see that today the conversion rate definitely is not very no optimistic, but it has gone up. Many students, okay, they have, when their first semester itself, I think we need to motivate them in the beginning itself, sir, because at the end of the day, they will always look for money because they have invested a lot of money. Many parents may not have the fund. So if they start their startup activities during their college time, if you give the incubator facility, give one small space to the students, those who want to become entrepreneur, give them one computer, internet connections, some office support in the first year itself. Those who are interested, identify them, motivate them, give some handholding, mentoring, and space. I think in 1 year time, before they take up the job in the campus placement, by then they can become successful entrepreneurs. I think that's somewhere we need to bring in some kind of changes in our way of looking or helping out the students how they can become entrepreneurs. Thank you so much, sir. Ashok sir,
So
thank you.
I have one thing to
Yes,
add
sir.
here.
Yes, sir.
So what is happening actually at the time of admission, all the institutions or most of the institutions, they are mentioning that we are having 100% campus placement. And
Yes, sir.
here comes the role of that ecosystem and the role of teacher as a mentor also. When we are saying that 100% placement, so usually I have not seen in the advertisement mentioning that in our that the alumni, so many entrepreneurs are there.
Wonderful. I think sir has rightly said. I think this is very innovative and very creative part. What Ashok sir has rightly said at this point of time, all institutions, they are looking for 100% placement in their advertisement. So and so companies, all big companies in their flyers, and they try to promote, okay, and attract the students, prospective students. Now I think this is one area. I think St. Francis Institute will take the lead in this area, okay, because they are highly entrepreneurial institutions, okay, because how many successful entrepreneurs. See, if we have our alumni as entrepreneurs, so definitely these alumni will come back and nurture the future generations. They will come back and take our students for employment. So you have no ready-made, no your companies for no employment of your students. I think fantastic, point, suggestions made by Ashok Khurana sir, that in our place, in our admission or in our website, we must, many they do it, but in the admission brochure, I have rarely seen that, no, these are the A, B, C institutions, are developed by our alumni, and they regularly come for interactions. They come for placement of our students. If any institution does it, I can assure you, sir, in today's present context, okay, that students, that particular institution will be the leader, and they will get a lot of no students, those who are coming for that particular institutions. And wonderful, Ashok sir, very good. It's a very innovative thought, especially from the point of view of admission and to develop the startup ecosystems and the enterprising students, those who want to become entrepreneurs. Okay, definitely, this would be a good motivation for them. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sir,
Wonderful.
I would like to add one point with what Ashok sir and Bholanath sir said. I am in total agree that yes, there are different ways of motivating an entrepreneur, but I think one of the way is to link your course curriculum with entrepreneurship. Let me tell you the reason. Whenever you are coming up with a particular topic or chapter, we come up with case studies of companies. we have never come up with case studies of entrepreneurs. And that is the reason that after completing his graduation or maybe post-graduation, when the student is asked to come up with a business plan, he is feeling that he is from frying pan to the oven. Okay, so that is thank you, sir. Thank you for this thumbs up. But that is one of the way. And whatever you have told, sir, there are in West Bengal, in my state, I can say, all the private universities have their own entrepreneurial cell, but this is only for the purpose of showcasing the balance sheet. Let me tell you, in most of the cases, these entrepreneurial shells are just dysfunctional in nature. I have seen very active entrepreneurial cell in IITs only. And except IITs, all the institutes of eminence, I don't see. Again, I will beg my pardon that I don't know about much of the universities, but I know IITs and IIMs. IITs and IIMs have very active entrepreneurial cells. Even they conduct on a regular basis entrepreneurship program. But other institutes and universities, I don't have any idea. But my state, I can say that this is only for showcasing the balance sheet. This is one. So my idea will be, or my suggestion will be, since Volanath sir, we are known to each other for maybe 2 years or more. So it will be a good initiative if St. Francis can take it, if we can link the course curriculum with entrepreneurship. Because whenever, see, I am coming back to my own subject, because I am a very kind of a person who is confined to accounting. A student know how the balance sheet looks like of a company who is earning in crores, but the student doesn't know what will be the shape of a balance sheet where the company is earning on a day-to-day basis, say for example 1,000 or 10,000, or maybe his monthly income is 10,000. So that student doesn't know. And when the student is asked, can you shape a balance sheet of a company where his monthly revenue is 10,000, he feels confused. What to write in the liability side, what to write in the asset side, because he has never been taught. I will not blame the student, but at the same time, I think it's on a teacher's call to how to link the course curriculum with case studies will help, but at the same time, some of the entrepreneurial case studies must be involved so that on a day-to-day basis, they could scale up. Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving me the opportunity, sir.
Sir, in Tamil Nadu, sir, in
Yes,
Tamil
sir,
Nadu,
Yes, sir. Bhaskaran
sir,
sir,
in Tamil
please.
Nadu, we have Tamil Nadu Startup Innovation Mission, where we are funding for innovation voucher programs, sir, 2 lakhs for idea. Students will have an idea, final year student and entrepreneur, we are funding them. And then 5 lakhs we are giving for commercialization, sir. And then we have 4 stages, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. So phase 1, we will do training entrepreneurship awareness camp. Phase 2, we will do business model canvas. Phase 3, like loans and all, we will give. And finally, we will ask them to start, sir. My suggestion, sir, we have hub and spoke model where Anna Institutes have a lot of spoke colleges are there. So this hub will go and train all the colleges in the spokes, sir. So that from the first year, they will do it with B mechanical as well as or B electrical, whatever it is, and they learn about an entrepreneurship. Final year, whatever their project they have done, like robotics I did, sir. So after coming out of college, they will do the robotics or whatever project, and that they start as an entrepreneurship. That is hub and spoke model that we have in Tamil Nadu, sir. So it goes on very well, and we are picking up that, sir. We are funded for that also. So like that, from the first year onwards, we are encouraging them to be an entrepreneur, sir. We have a E-cell, entrepreneurship cell in colleges, so like that we have done, sir. So that's what I want to share.
Thank you, sir. Dr. E. Bhaskaran sir is from the government side, and he is one of the prominent speakers on startup. And we met several times face to face, and also over the phone. And very nice to have you, sir, with us.
Thank you, sir.
And definitely that model, the mentor-mentee model, the hub and spoke model, what you said, that's a very successful model. Sir discussed with me before also in Tamil Nadu. It's a very successful model. I think similar kind of model we can think of. And Dr. Kunal Seal, one of my good friends from Kolkata, from where I belong, he said something very innovative and very creative. I think that's what many colleges, most of the colleges, they miss out. Okay, the connecting the each lesson plan, the each chapter of a subject with some startup activities. Bhaskaran sir, I think this is a very creative idea. Generally, we do it case studies. Okay, the case studies. And if we can connect with some startup activities with a particular idea, I think definitely that will have more weightage, and students can connect very well, and we can motivate and inspire them also. I think wonderful suggestion. I think St. Francis Institute of Management and Research will be the pioneer in this area, and especially two areas I have mentioned, Namrata ma'am. One is in the
Yes, sir.
admission, the our no startup activities. All these must be promoted along with the placement activities, because today market correction is happening, and students, especially, I think Bhaskaran sir will know, many students they're looking for institute which are enterprising, entrepreneurial institute, have a lot of startup activities. Their alumni successful entrepreneurs. So there is a change in the perception because of the market factor, market corrections, and what is happening at present time. Okay, so people are looking for that. I think he made wonderful suggestion. I think Kunal sir, thumbs up, and Bhaskaran sir, thank you sir for the wonderful no inputs. Okay, you have really enriched. And Kuldeep Nagi sir also, no wonderful viewpoints. Sir always shares his views in MTC platform, and we're really very proud to have him from Thailand, Assumption University, Bangkok, and Ashok sir, wonderful no points, suggestion made by Dr. Ashok Purana sir, and I believe that we need to keep the time. Okay, now we are now exact 12 noon. We are no time overdone by 2 seconds, but being from defense person, I think no defense forces no we should align with the time. That's very important. And now, with all of your permissions, thank you so much for the wonderful opportunity and to meet
Thank you,
all of
sir.
you and learn from a lot of new things. I think learning continues, and it's a wonderful learning session. And thank you, the dean, the director, Dr. Simon sir, who is the person who contacted us, and all the future student leader managers. Okay, thank you so much for your presence. And I hand over the session to the host of today's program, Professor Namrata ma'am. Please take over.
Thank you so much, sir. Sir,
Thank
just thank you everybody for the wonderful suggestions. Just to inform you that we are on the track. We do promote in our admission brochure that we have an incubation cell, we have an entrepreneurship cell, and that's not only with our current students. As you know, one of the participants pointed out that we look at 100% placement assistant, and every person who wants to enroll their kid in a management, college, they basically are looking at the institute providing their kids some kind of placement to for them to recover their investment. Today management education is like an investment, so you invest x amount of money, and a student is looking at withdrawing that money in a period of 1 or 2 years. So with this mindset, a lot of parents want their kids to pick up management education. But one change which we have seen over these years, so I'm just giving a small brief. I was just sharing my experience. I've been a mentor for last 10 years. And this is my third management institute where I've been mentoring a lot of young kids from different backgrounds, like whether they are Marwadi, Punjabi, Gujarati, or even people from different communities. The mindset which have changed among people is that kids come to the institute and they say that I just want an exposure, and that's the reason I'm looking at placement for a year or two. But I have already started working on my entrepreneurship idea in the institute, because since we promote entrepreneurship as a compulsory paper for all our students, and we do a lot of activities, we invite young entrepreneurs to come and speak. We do a business model, competition. So, the mindset of students have changed. We are also a very active ESL, which mentor our alumni. So we have a very active alumni association, and our ESL supports our alumni for their entrepreneurial ideas. We have a platform where these entrepreneur students can post job postings. They can also promote their business among all other students who are joining the family. So we are trying to build a community ecosystem. But whatever suggestions have been taken, one very good suggestion which I've understood is we do a lot of case studies for entrepreneurs also in a particular subject. But now maybe I'm going to go back and speak to my dean and say, no, we are not. We are going to do one entrepreneur case study for each subject, for every faculty in every subject. So what happens is the mindset changes. We have also seen a lot of companies who are picking up students who have an entrepreneurial, mindset. Even if they don't want to become entrepreneur, we see that they have a lot of risk-taking capacity and their decision-making skills are better. So companies also prefer them. So there is a very different change in the mindset. that's one point which I would like to talk about our institute itself. Second point, sir, when I was listening to you, I was very obliged by understanding what is happening with respect to health startups or any other startups now since this pandemic. So last week I was mentoring in a boot camp for one of the Jaipur universities where I was mentoring healthcare startups. So they had this emergency boot camp to help new ideas which have come in the healthcare sector. So I was amazed to know I met a lot of people. So I've met people. So I was mentoring somebody who was 70-year-old, two doctors who started the emergency services of providing healthcare workers which are certified to people at home. So that was a new initiative, and last 3 years they have actually served 500 people. Very unorganized sector, very niche, and they had the first mover advantage in this space. Second, I was instrumenting I was actually speaking to students who were just 20-year-old. They were just graduate from a tech institute. They were funded by SSTP for their idea, and they had made a product which was a sensing product which could capture your health data the way you were saying, and that data could be shared with anybody, any doctor across the globe for you to take consultancy. So I would use the device and have all my readings, whether it's pulse, oxygen, or any other level. And I could also save this data and create a self-imaging. The software creates a self-imaging, prototype for the entire data for the doctor to view. So, two girls, I was very amazed. Two girls at the age of 20, they had a funding of 50,000 rupees to make a prototype for this idea. And so many, whether it's kids or whether it's the elder generation, what I feel is any kind of disturbance in the normal ecosystem give birth to creativity and innovation, the theme which we have been discussing. So with this note, I would like to thank you, sir, for being part of this session. Your each word, each thought has enlightened all of us. I am sure all the deans, directors, and faculties of different institutes who have joined us, they have a lot of takeaways for the day, what things we need to plan and how we need to plan the ecosystem for the entrepreneurial journey. Thank you so much to be part of this.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Moving further to the second speaker for the day, we have Mr. Sahil Koil, a founder CEO, Sanron Consultancy Services. He's going to